All right, welcome. Today we're diving into a piece of writing that's, well, it's less of a story and more like a philosophical map. It's a journey right into the heart of what it means to be human in a world that is just constantly in motion. So let's get into it. And this quote, it just lays it all out for us right from the very beginning. The author's basically telling us, hey, don't worry so much about the scenery. We're not exploring the streets of a city, but the landscape of the human mind while it's in that city. This isn't a travel guide, it's a guide to ourselves. So, who are our guides on this little journey? The source calls them a map of the human conscience. Now, what that means is these aren't your typical characters. They're more like living, breathing embodiments of ideas, like reason and compassion. And their whole quest is to figure out how these ancient values, trust and justice, can actually survive in our fast-paced digital world. So the first part of their journey happens in a hotel, which the source uses as this perfect metaphor for the modern condition. These temporary spaces that somehow force us to ask these really permanent questions. The source makes such a fascinating point here. A hotel lobby, with its perfect, yet totally impersonal design, it's not meant to make you feel at home. It's actually designed to be transient, to be a constant reminder that you are just passing through. It's a space that is, in a way, intentionally unsettling. And this slide really hammers home the main idea of this section. It's the unease we feel in these temporary spaces that forces us to ask deep, permanent questions. Our physical surroundings actually become a trigger for a more philosophical state of mind. And one of the characters, the ant, she completely reinforces this idea. We think most deeply when we're outside of our comfort zones. Discomfort, in this sense, becomes a catalyst for self-reflection. These spaces aren't just places we pass through. They are designed to make us pause and think. Okay, so our characters leave the hotel and they step out onto the city streets. And this is where the central conflict of the story really comes into focus. The city offers this immense scale, but does it offer any real meaning? Now, this is such a powerful critique. The city offers instant scale. It makes you feel bigger, like you're part of something massive. But the source argues this enlargement is really just superficial. It expands your world, sure, but it doesn't necessarily deepen your understanding or your character. And here is where it becomes so incredibly relevant to our lives right now. The script connects the physical city directly to our digital world. Just think about it. Social media algorithms, they expand our reach and accelerate information. But do they provide meaning? The source suggests they don't. Meaning is something we have to generate ourselves. This slide really shows the trade-offs we're constantly making. We tend to favor speed over depth, right? Acceleration over the slow, difficult work of creating meaning. And, as the source suggests, we often confuse the impressive height of a skyscraper with the moral responsibility that should go along with it. And this applies to all systems, not just cities or algorithms. They are built for momentum. If you decide to stop, to pause and reflect, the system doesn't kick you out. It just moves on without you. It's designed to ignore the individual in favor of the collective flow. So how do we respond to this overwhelming speed and scale? The story now makes a pivot. We're moving from diagnosing the problem to searching for a solution, or, as the source beautifully puts it, an antidote. This is the question that frames this entire search for an answer. In a world that is built for relentless momentum, what does it actually take to preserve our humanity, our sense of self? And the first answer proposed is beautiful, just in its simplicity: compassion. It's a deliberate act of slowing down, of seeing the individual that the system ignores. It's an intentional choice to connect, which stands in direct opposition to the impersonal rush of the city. The character of the uncle offers this really counterintuitive piece of wisdom. He says it's natural to feel small in the shadow of skyscrapers, but he suggests that this sense of humility is actually a strength. The real danger, he argues, is the arrogance of imagining ourselves to be great, which can cause us to lose our true sense of place in the world. And it all comes down to this single powerful word found in one of the characters' notebooks: proportion. That's the key. It's about finding the right scale, the right measure for ourselves within the vastness of the world. It's not about being big or small, but about understanding our true size and our true place. So, what's the ultimate destination of this journey? Well, it turns out it's not about finding a single neat answer. It's about a profound shift in perspective. from a desperate search for answers to a patient practice of listening for the right questions. The uncle's advice here is a really powerful call to inaction. In our fast-paced world, our instinct is to have an immediate answer for everything. He urges us to resist that impulse. Just pause. Don't rush. Give the question the space it needs to truly be heard. And this is the final transformation. The characters stop reacting to the noise of the city, the sirens, the traffic, the chaos. Instead, they begin to listen past the noise, to hear the deeper questions the city is asking of them. This is the shift from a reactive state to a receptive one. And we'll end on this final, profound thought. It reframes our entire perception of time and burden. A day feels long not because of the hours in it, but because of the weight of the questions we choose to engage with. And so, the source leaves us with a question of our own. What questions are you agreeing to carry?